So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of Spring REST playlist. I'm Abhishek Verma and in today's video we are going to learn about an advanced topic of Spring REST, that is REST template. Now the question is, why do we need REST template? So till now we have been creating the application. Within the application we have been creating the APIs, and then always we used to test them with the help of Postman. Beside this, I used to tell you that okay, later on someone will create the UI with the help of Angular or React, and then they are going to consume your APIs. But what if I tell you that today we are going to create second Spring Boot application, and that is going to consume the APIs of the first application, which means today two applications are going to interact with each other. Isn't that interesting? So without wasting more time, let's directly get started and see how the things are going to look like.
So now we are in the IDE, and before we start with our today's demo, first of all, let's see what we did in the previous demo. For this, we will go to this demo number 12, and here I will directly go to this UML diagram. Here, let me increase the size a bit. Now I hope it is much more clear. So first of all, as you remember, we were having a demo class which just simply contains the main method, nothing much here. Then we were having the controller class. From the controller, we were moving towards the service layer. From the service, we were going towards the repository layer. And then we are having owner mapper also, which helps us to convert entity to DTO and vice versa. We were also having the exception controller advice because we were handling the exception here. Then we were also having the DTO classes. In the DTO classes, we were making usage of enums for gender and pet type. Then beside this, we were also having the entity classes. Because as you know, that entity classes are used to map with the tables in the database. Why I'm going in all these details? Because it will be required for today's video also. Now, if I just go towards this owner controller, so let me just double click. So here you see that we are having two methods here. First one is very simple, find all owners. Second one also seems to be simple because in the last video, our main topic of concern was API versioning. So basically we saw 4 different ways of doing API versioning, and at the end I told you that okay, request params is one of the best ways, which you can see here. If you want to know more about all 3 other types of methods also, then you just need to watch that video, link in the description. Now let me just simply close this one and let's go to our today's demo. So today we are in this demo number 13. So first of all, let me take you to this pom.xml. Now here you see that we are just having a Spring Boot starter, which is a basic dependency. We are having web dependency and Lombok, and that's it. So there is no data JPA dependency here. That means that how we are going to interact with the database if there is no data JPA dependency. Now the reality is, as I told you, that today we are not directly going to interact with the database. Instead, what we will do is that we will be invoking the APIs which we have created in some another demo. Then with the help of those APIs, we are going to interact with the database. Yep. Now, in reality, what can happen that let's say this demo 13 has been created by us. And let's say that later on, you need to invoke the APIs which were created by some another company. So in that case also, you are going to consume the APIs. Here, for that purpose, what we will do is we will take help of this demo number 8. If you remember in this demo number 8, we did the input validation part. So here we have the input validation, we are throwing the exceptions, and almost each and everything is there. So that's why I have considered this demo. So here, if I just open this one, so here you will see that we are having the owner controller. Within that, we were having save owner, which is a post mapping. We were having find owner. It was accepting with the help of path variable. Then we are having patch mapping to update the pet details. And we were having the delete owner also. And there was one more method where we can provide 2 different dates. And then we can get all the owners whose pet born between those particular dates. So this we will today consider as the server. So as of now, already we have created this, but let's assume that someone else has created and they are providing us these APIs. Now the thing is, from our code, that is demo number 13, we need to consume these APIs and then we need to perform all these operations: post, get, patch, and delete. Only these 4 operations we are going to perform here. So for this, what I will do is, let me as of now close this, and as of now let me close this one also. Let me show you few more extra things. So here you see that first of all we are having this demo class. Again, looks simple, nothing much here, nothing new here. Then we are having this controller class, and in this controller, so I'm assuming that okay, someone else has created this one. Okay, so that's why instead of using the word owner, because that may create a confusion, we are using a different name as customer controller. Okay, because I want to show you that it may happen that on the server side there are different names of the class, and on the client side there are some different names of the class. So that is possible. And here the URL is going to be /customers. So then here we are having 4 methods. First one is save the customer. It is just taking a request body. You see, I haven't added any kind of validation here because just I want to make it simple. If you wish, here also you can add the validations and other things. Then we are having a get mapping here. We are having a patch mapping here. We are having a delete mapping also here. Later on, you say that, okay, what about put mapping? What about request param? What about matrix variables? What about pagination? So trust me, if you are able to understand these 4 things, then you will be able to do other things also on your own. Because my purpose is not to just hard code in your mind that, okay, this is how the things are done. Instead, my purpose is that you understand how to do the things, and later on you can implement same in your code also, in your production level code. Yeah? So here we are having 4 things. Now generally what happens is we just keep on interacting, we just keep on coding in the controller class. But today it is going to be a little different. Controller class is already coded, and there is not going to be any other change in this one. It's already simple. Today, we are basically going to work with the service class. Okay. Before that, let me just quickly show you this controller advice also. So here currently I'm handling customer not found exception, which is again a custom one I have created. I'm handling method not allowed exception and a generic exception I'm handling here. Yeah. Then besides this, if I go to this exception, so you see we are just having customer not found exception. And then if I go to this DTO, so you see we are having this error DTO, which is almost same like you have seen in the previous videos also. Then you see that I'm having customer DTO. So deliberately, I have not taken the name as owner DTO. Instead, I have taken the name as customer DTO because I just want to show you that it can be any name. It doesn't matter that whatever the server is using, you need to go with the same name. You can go for another name also. Okay. The major things is that you should be able to map all the fields. So like here we are mapping first name, last name, and all these things. Then for the pet DTO also, generally you see that whenever we are having a pet DTO, under that we are having domestic pet and the wild pet. But here what I have done is I have just created a class companion DTO. So instead of calling it as a pet, we will call it as a companion. And there only I'm having birth date also as well as birthplace. Because the thing is, this demo number 13 has been created by, let's say, company B. And in that their scenario, they don't have anything separately like wild pet or this particular domestic pet. Just with the help of category, they mention the things. Okay. Also, they don't love to make usage of the enums. Hence, there are no enums. They are directly simply considering with the help of string only. Now from here, let me just simply close all these classes and let's go towards the service. So service, you see that we are having again just 4 simple methods, and this is my service IMPL. So again, just 4 simple methods, nothing coded here because today our main point is in the service layer only. Okay, we need to code this particular one only. Now, after this, generally what happens is that from the service layer, we call the repository layer. Okay, how we do so is, for this again, let me go to this demo 8 and show you that service layer. So there you see what I have done in demo number 8 is that here I'm having owner service IMPL, and there I'm auto wiring the owner repository, and then I'm invoking the methods of the repository layer that we generally do. But here today, as I said, I'm not having any direct interaction with the database. So there is no point of having the repository layer. Instead, my main goal is to invoke the APIs of demo number 8 from this demo number 13. Let's see how to do it. For this, first of all, as I said, we need to make usage of REST template. So REST template is a class using which you can invoke the APIs. You can invoke any kind of REST APIs using this. Okay, it may be possible that those APIs are available within your machine only. Like in my case, they are in demo 8, or in case they are available in someone else's machine. It can be anywhere. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, first of all, generally what we do, generally, let's say if I want to invoke a repository method, I will auto wire repository here. So today, since we need to invoke some APIs using REST template, so first of all, let's auto wire the REST template. For this, what we are going to do is we are going to say here private, then we are going to say here final, and here let's call it as REST template, something like this. And here also, let's call it as REST template in this particular way, and let me make this T as capital so that it looks nice. Okay, so this is how it is going to look like. You will say, okay, Abhishek, you are not making usage of @auto-wide annotation, because you see I'm making usage of Lombok annotation. So when I'm saying it final, so automatically on this, when you say like this, automatically it is going to auto wire using constructor injection. All those things I've explained in the previous demos, in the basics also, so you need to watch that particular part. Okay, then after this, now generally what happens is that whenever you are auto wiring something, then you must have created that particular class. Okay, and on that particular class you are having some annotation like @service, @repository, @controller, or just @component, using which you get the bean of that particular class. But here this REST template is coming from Spring framework itself. Okay, but still we need to create the bean for this particular class. Okay, so let's try to create a bean for this one. And for this, what we will do is we will go here and I'm going to say class, and in this one let me call it as REST template, something like this, and let's say call it as config. So this is the one, and here the package name also, let's keep something different, so let's call it as config in this particular way. Now, you see we have created this class and we are calling it as a config class. So here I will be creating a bean. Now, since here I need to create a bean, so here I need to take help of this configuration, something like this. I'm not sure whether you remember this or not, but basically we started our Spring journey with these classes only. Okay, @configuration. If you remember in Spring Basics with Spring Boot, initially I explained you these @configuration and these classes only. Okay, so you need to learn each and everything. You need to watch each and every video so that you can understand all these things. Yep. Now the thing is, here we need to create a bean. So that bean should be returning an object of REST template. So let's write it something like this. And here we are going to provide this particular name in this way here. Yeah, and here let me say like this, and here what I'm going to say is I will be say new of REST template, and now this is going to look in this particular way. And on this, since I need to create a bean, so I will be saying like this @bean. So this is the way, guys. Now the thing is how it is going to be mapped. So here you see this name, the method name, needs to be same as this variable name so that it gets auto wired, and that is the main point here, guys. Yeah, so this was the main thing. So let's say Control Shift O here and Control S. So this is how we are doing. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, we are making usage of Spring Boot and REST template is also provided by Spring only, so why we need to create a bean? Because generally for database also we don't need to create any other bean. In order to using so much Spring REST, for that also we never created any other kind of bean. Then why for this? And generally this is asked in the interviews also. So the reason is that generally here in this particular part, in this method here, it allows you many other options also, like how much timeout you want to set, because it should not happen that you are invoking some other API and then it is taking like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something like this in order to provide the response. So you mentioned timeout also here. Then when we go with this particular Spring microservice, at that point of time, we want to do the load balancing also here. So those things also we mentioned here. Then many times what happens is that within this REST template, so if I go somewhere here, so you see this is a class here. So this is going to look something like this. So in this REST template, what happens is that internally it is making usage of some request factories using which only it supports your post, put, and all these things. So by default, it support simple client HTTP request factory. But sometimes we also need to go for HTTP components client HTTP request factory. I mean, the name is that big, but I will tell you in meantime that when you need to use which one. By default, it will go for this simple client HTTP request factory only. Okay. So the main point is that here there are many options that you want to customize this REST template as per your requirement. And that is the reason Spring says that, okay, I'm not going to provide a bean for this. I will just create a class. Now, if you want a bean, you just make here, and then whatever the customization you want to do with it, you keep on doing. Okay. When we will go for the Spring microservices series, at that time I will show you that how you can load balance the things also here. Yeah, but I'm not sure whether I will be creating microservice series or not, because you guys are not supporting, you guys are not even liking this series. So what's the fun of creating microservice series? I hope this is going to be the last playlist on this particular channel, at least the big hands-on playlist. Okay, so after this I'm not planning as of now, because the main point is you guys are not supporting. So then what's the benefit? I already know all these things. Yeah, so if that is the case, let's come back here and at least let's try to complete this playlist. So here we have created the bean, and now it will get auto-wired, and now is the time that we need to invoke the methods, or we basically need to invoke the APIs of this demo number 8. Yep. For this, let me again open the controller of this demo 8. And now you see one of the reasons why I make usage of this Eclipse or STS ID is because it shows me all these multiple demos here only. Generally in IntelliJ, you can't see all these multiple projects in the same screen itself. Okay. So that is also one of the reasons that I love this one instead of IntelliJ for creating these demos. Yeah, it's not a case that I don't know how to work with that one. Now here the thing is, in owner controller, first of all, our goal is to save the owner. Now this save owner is going to accept a kind of owner DTO, and this is a post mapping. And same thing is here also. Here we want to save a customer. It is going to accept a customer DTO and returning an integer. So here also you see it is returning response entity of integer. So let's see how to invoke it using REST template. So what I will be doing is I will say here something like this, and then I'm going to say REST template. And within this, I will be having a method post, and then I will be saying post for. Now you see that when I'm saying post for, I'm getting so many methods. So first of all, let's go for this method only. I will tell you why not any other method, only this one later on. Okay, but as of now, let's go for this. Now you see what it is going to accept. This basically needs 3 arguments: the URL, the request type, and the response data type. Okay, so you need to provide which URL you want to invoke. So let's go for this one here. And first of all, automatically it said here customer DTO. That's interesting. So here, first of all, we need to provide the URL which we want to invoke here. So how do we know the URL? So if you remember, we can go to this Postman, and here we have already created demo 8 earlier. So let's go to this save owner, and from here we can copy the URL, something like this. It's that easy. Okay, and let's come back here and paste it somewhere like this: http://localhost:/edt/owners. So this is the URL. Second argument is going to be your input type, what you wish to input. So when from Postman you provide something like this. So when you are providing from here, you just simply mention the things here. Yeah. Now you will think that how it is going to map the things automatically, because here it is customer DTO, there it is owner DTO. So for this, I have a cross question for you. Just pause the video and think for a while that when you were taking help of this Postman, how these things were getting mapped. Did anywhere you mentioned this is owner DTO here? The answer is no. Why it was able to map? Because these names, these field names were exactly same as you were having in the owner DTO. And that is the reason that in this customer DTO also, if you see, I'm having these same names. Although I'm calling it as companion DTO, but the variable name is pet DTO only. So it is going to automatically map the things. The interesting part is that here I'm providing a companion video as a whole complete thing only. I'm not providing anything as separate. Okay. So the same thing here also you were doing. So here what you were doing here as a part of category, you were telling which kind of pet it is, domestic or wild pet. Okay. So same thing we are doing here also. So here we are providing category. Now if I wish, I will just provide the birth date. If I wish, I will just provide the birthplace. It is not mandatory to provide both of them. Okay. So that is the magical point, guys. And the third argument is the return type, what you are expecting it to return. So if we go to owner controller once, it is returning me response entity integer. So that means I'm expecting it to return a integer. So here let me go, and here I will be saying integer, and I will be saying class here integer.class. So this is how you need to write the things. Yeah. Now, after this, what we will do is let's save the output somewhere here, and here let me call it as response, something like this. And here also, let me call it as response in this particular way. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, there is a single line only. Why don't you return it directly, first saving and then doing this? Because currently my goal is to show you few more extra things. That's why deliberately I'm showing you what is the return type here. Okay, how you are saving and how the things are going on, because they are going to be few more variants of post itself. Yeah. So this is how it is working. And now, yeah, the things are ready, and that's it. Besides this, you don't need to do any extra thing. I mean, wasn't it that simple? So we just created a REST template. Then here in the config, where it went. So here in the config, we created something like this, @main. This was also very simple, and it doesn't matter how many APIs you have. You just need to create it once. Okay. So this also we did, and then we provided URL, we provided input, and we told what is the response data type, and that's it. Now let's execute. Obviously, first of all, since you are invoking someone else, so your server should be running first. Okay. Otherwise, there is no benefit. So let me run the server first of all. So this is demo 8. And the best part is, for REST template, you don't need to add any extra dependency. Simple, your web is going to work fine. So demo 8 has been started on port 8080. Now let's go to this demo 13 and let's try to start the same. So here we are trying to start it, but you see, it says web server failed to start. Port 8080 was already in use. Now, why is it so? The reason is, you see, by default, whenever we were starting any application till now, it was always starting on port number 8080. Yeah, and that is a by default thing only. Now the thing is, this port 8080 is actually the port of your machine. Whether you call it as computer, whether you call it as laptop, it is the port of your machine which it is want to use, where it is trying to run the thing. But on this port 8080, you are already running your demo number 8. So how can you run your demo number 13? It's not possible. Yeah. So here one option is that instead of running demo 8 on my machine itself, I run it on some other machine. But then I need to provide the actual IP of that machine instead of localhost. So what I will do is that here I will go to this src main resources in application.properties file, and let's change the port number. So this is the very first time we are doing something like this. And for this, we just need to say server.port. You will automatically get these options, and you can give any other port number. The only thing is it should be free. So just to make it more simple, I will call it as 9090. Okay. So that it is clearly visible that that was 80. This is 9090. So here, let me execute like this. And now I have started it. Let's see whether it will work or not. So here you see it has started your this port number 9090 also. So on your 9090, demo number 13 is working. Yeah. And now you see that, okay, then how can I see the console of demo 8? So for this, you just need to go here, and you see actually two programs are running, demo 8 and demo 13. So if you will click on 8, you will see the console of 8. So that is actually interacting with the database. But this one, that is your demo number 13, is not interacting with the database. You will say that, okay, can't I watch both these consoles parallelly? The answer is, then you just need to click on this another symbol. So first one will show you how many applications are there, and then another symbol will open a new console view. Okay. So on this one console, you switch to this demo number 8. So here I will keep this demo number 8 here, and on this first console I will keep demo number 13. So this way you can watch multiple applications and their console, something like this. Now let's go here and let's go to this particular, we are going to close this one and let's go to this demo number 13. Already I have created save customer and the request almost looks same only. There is nothing different. Okay. And here we don't need to mention whether it's a customer DTO or whether it's an owner DTO, because rest everything's the same. And you see here only I have just given the birth date. I'm not providing birthplace, and in the category I'm saying domestic here. So hence it is going to create a domestic pet. The URL is localhost 9090/customers. So let's see whether it will work or not. So here if I click on this send, so here you see it is throwing me some kind of exception. It says that okay, there is some duplicate error or something like this. It gave me a very big exception. Okay. The reason is with this particular ID, with this particular mobile number and this particular email ID, I was already having some owner in that particular table. And you see that mobile number and the email ID should be unique. Okay. And for that kind of exception, we were not, creating some user friendly kind of input here. So that was one of the reason. So as of now, for what I will do is I will call it as something as 9, and here also I will call it as Abhishek 9. Okay, just for as of now to show you how it is going to look like. So now I have made, and now it says that this 85 has been created, 201 created. Now let's try to click on this find customer, and here what I will do is I'm going to say 85. Yeah. Now you tell me whether it will work or not. So as of now, in this particular get mapping, we haven't done anything interesting. So here you see what will happen. It will come to its particular controller, but then there is nothing. So let's see what it will do. So if I click on this one, it will just say 200. Okay. There is no output as such. Why it will say like this? Because then it will come here into this find customer. You are returning null, which is just okay. There is no exception and nothing like this. Okay. So here you won't see anything. But if we go to this demo 8, and directly there we see whether this 85 has been actually created or not. So now the URL is /owners. That is the reason I kept different names so that I can show you easily. So there you see 85 has been actually created and all the data is correct only. Everything has been mapped correctly. So that means that we were able to make it work. Now, after this, the next point is, as of now, let me say don't save. For find also, let's say don't save. Let's come back to this particular one. Now here you see that whenever everything works fine, it looks so good. Okay. But what if I remove one of the things as here, like first name? Now you remember that on the server side, we were having a validation that first name is mandatory. But here we have removed it. Now let's see what is going to happen. So now when you are going to actually run this, it will invoke that particular one, and see it is showing you the URL also. That actually internally we are invoking http localhost 880/owners, and from there we are getting a message first name of the owner is mandatory, and then it's a bad request, status code is 400, and then this is a timestamp, something like this. So this is the message which we got from the server part. And then what we did, we embedded the complete thing in our message, and then we created our own error DTO part, and we are calling it as internal server error. So basically what we are doing, whatever the message is coming from there, we are directly throwing as it is here, which is again not a good practice. So what we will do is, let's try to handle that particular exception. Okay. So for this one, what I will do is, now I know that it can throw me some kind of exception. Yeah. So what I will be doing here is that here I will say something like this try. So it should be something like this. And here after this try, let me write a catch block. So here I will be saying catch. Now the best part is that whenever you will be getting any kind of exception from the REST template, then that exception is going to be of the type REST client exception. Okay. So this is something which you need to remember. If not, then ChatGPT will obviously help you. Okay. So that is going to be your REST client exception. Now we are doing this. Yeah. Now, After this, what we will do? So here we are going to say return null in this particular case. But before that, let's try to handle the exception. And instead of writing the complete logic here only, what I will do is I will write it in a separate method, something like this, and I will create a method handle exception. Now, instead of creating it step by step, what I will do is I will directly copy paste a particular logic, and then it's better to explain you that logic here. Okay, so here you see what we are doing. Whatever is the exception coming, I'm handling it here, and then I'm invoking the method handle exception. Same exception I have passed there. Now this is my handle exception. So here I'm accepting a REST client exception. Then I'm saying if this exception is an instance of bad request, so only for the bad request. If it is an instance of bad request, then what you do? Then further you invoke one more method, extract error message, and just pass your message there. Now with that particular method, what we are doing is here we are saying that, okay, do some kind of processing. Okay, so here we will be taking help of these regex. So using regex, what we are basically trying to do, out of this whole message, I'm just trying to get this particular part of the message, that is first name of owner is mandatory. So I have just studied these things. I found that, okay, always it start with something like this. First of all, square bracket, then there is curly braces, then there is slash symbol, then we have something like message, and then comes my actual message. So what I'm doing is with the help of regex, I'm just getting that particular part, and then if it is empty, I will be returning the message as it is. In case there are multiple message, I will be joining them with the help of a semicolon. So I'm formatting, I'm only getting that part of the message, and then I'm again returning it, or basically I'm again throwing it as a REST client exception. In case if it is not due to bad request, in case if it is due to some other kind of exception, then I will be just returning as it is. Okay, for those kind of things also, if you wish, you can do the same part, but as of now I wasn't interested, so I'm just doing something like this. If you say we can remove this part, and for each and every time whenever something comes, we can just format the exception, and that also can be done here. Okay, or as of now, let's try to do it if that is possible. So what I will do is I will just try to give it something like this, and here I will say it like this. Yeah, so let's make it a bit more simple. So whenever anything will happen, so this will be the thing, it will always return me a formatted thing. So now let's again run the same thing, guys, and here we are running it. So now let's see what is going to happen. So again, this is the one, and here let's do the same thing again with the error part only. So this time, if you see when I'm running, so I'm now getting a clear message. First name of the owner is mandatory. So what I did from there, I got a very big exception message. Then out of that, I just took only the message part, and that I'm sending in my own exception. And now I'm calling it as internal server error. Okay, if because now who is handling it? Generic exception. So that one is handling. If you wish, you can create a separate handler also. Yeah. Now let me show you something more interesting. Why I made usage of that big regex, why I said semicolon like this. So let's say I'm removing these three things this time. Okay. Now let's see what will happen. So I have removed three things. So now again, if we are running, so it says last name of the owner is mandatory. That was message number one, a semicolon. Then it says first name is also mandatory, again a semicolon, and gender is also mandatory, something like this. So each and everything is mandatory here. Yeah. So this is the benefit, guys, of that semicolon, that whatever is the messages, with the help of these semicolon, it is doing like this. Now let's try to give all the things, but you see with this 99 mobile number and email ID, we have already created a owner. Now let's see what it will do. So in this case, if we see, so again in the message, it is showing me this part only. So now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, is it good to show this kind of a message? You are showing the owner table and everything. The answer is no. But this thing we have already discussed in some previous demo, that in such kind of a scenarios, instead of showing each and everything, you should say something went wrong. But here we decided not to say like this, and hence we are only getting the message part. But the point is, we were able to format the exception whatever we were getting. So that was my main point of concern here, guys, and I was able to show you. Now after this, the next part is that should we go for the get method? The answer is not yet. So we are not going towards the get method. Instead, I'm going to bore you with this post itself for a little bit more time. Okay. So what we will do here is that here, first of all, the number one thing which I will be doing is that I will be calling it as using object. So I will change the method name something like this. And then what I will do is I will be copying or let me just copy from somewhere else the another method, and that I will be showing you here in this particular way like this. Okay. So till now I have created the previous method where I have written the logic. There I'm calling it as using object. And here what I'm doing is that here I will be calling it as using entity. And there is a difference. Okay. And here let me replace this one here also something in this particular way. Yeah. So let's see what it is basically trying to do. So now you see owner controller was not only returning me integer, it was returning me response entity integer. Now, if you remember why we used to have this response entity, so that we can, customize the status code also, or if you wish, we can customize some header also. So in the response also, we have headers. If you don't trust me, so we can just go to this particular one, and here generally we always see the body part, but if you see we have the headers part also. So we are having some headers in the response also. Okay. So we get all these things whenever we return the response entity. So here, generally, when we just say post for object, then we are not getting the complete response entity. We are only getting the integer out of it, or whatever is the data type. But if you say no, I want to get the complete entity, so then you can say post for entity, and this is the difference, guys. When you say post for object, you will only get the data, internal data. But when you will say post for entity, then you will get the complete response entity integer. Yeah. And what is the argument here? So first argument, again your URL, same like the previous one. Second argument, again your input, same like the previous one. And third is the data type. So here you don't need to say data type as response entity integer. You just need to tell that it should be an integer. Automatically it will wrap the response entity around it. Okay. So now you will get the complete thing. Now from this, if you just want to get the integer, you will say get body. So it will provide you the body. But the benefit is that this time with this get method, you can get the status code also. So many times we just want to work with the help of status code. We want to decide which kind of exception, what kind of things to be done. So status code. Many times you just want headers also. So you can say get headers or something like this. And this is how the things are going to work. Rest everything is same. So now I hope you are clear when to use post for object, when to use post for entity. So if you are interested in working with the response code, if you are interested in working with the response headers, then go for post for entity. Otherwise, go for post for object. Yep. This is the major thing, guys. Rest everything is same only. The input type and everything was same. Now, after this, the next one. What if that within the input, I want to provide some header? So till now, you see that we were only providing the customer detail as it is. But many times with the input also, I want to pass some kind of headers. You will say that, okay, we have never passed, but I guess you don't remember. But in the previous demo only, that is this demo number 12, I told you that you can pass these custom headers. So you can pass the version and custom header like this. You can pass the accept header also like this. So from the postman also we can pass the header. So what if from this particular code, I want to pass the header? Neither post for object supports this, neither post for entity is going to support that. In that case, what I will do is I will be taking help of the third variant, that is this particular exchange here. Okay. So let me just say Control Shift O. So here what happens again, first of all, let me just mention this URL part. So again, like here, I just need to mention something like this. Okay. So this time with the REST template, I will be invoking the method exchange. Now the data, now the type is not clear, whether it is post, get, patch, put, delete, it is not clear. So it is just exchange. First argument is your URL as always. Second argument is what kind of method it is. Is it a post? Is it a put? Is it a get? It is delete? It is patch? What? So I'm saying it is of type post. Third argument is this time request entity. So this time it is not going to accept the customer DTO as it is. Instead, it will say, I want some HTTP entity. So hence you need to create. So what we will do is we will say HTTP entity. Here we are saying it is of data type customer DTO. And within this, we are going to pass. You will say that, okay, why so much amount of hard work? Because now we get a flexibility to pass headers also. So what we can do is we can say here HTTP, and then we can say some headers like this. And here let me make 1T remove, and here let me say HTTP headers. Here let me call it as H, and here I will be saying new, and then I will be calling it as HTTP headers in this particular way. And this is headers and something like this, guys. And now this is going to look like this. Okay. So this is your header, and now you can pass it like this. Okay. You will say how to provide values in these headers. Still it is empty. So that is just something like this. So we will say add here. And then here you can provide some of the things. So here you can say that, okay, I will be providing a key, and here I will be providing some value like this. Okay. So that is something which you can provide. So if we take example of this previous one, okay. So there, if you remember, we were passing the custom headers. A custom header was version and value was 2. So how will you pass the same thing here? Obviously, as of now, it is not going to work, but let me just show you. So you will pass it like this, version and 2. So you are going to pass your input part also as well as the header. As of now, we don't need, hence I'm just simply removing it. But I hope now you are clear. And this thing was not possible with post for object and post for entity. Then the fourth argument is going to be your, again, the return type. So here again, we are going to say integer. The best part is that Exchange always return you response entity. Yeah. So that means Exchange will do whatever post for entity was doing, plus it is going to accept header in the input also. So now if we just summarize, post for object is the simplest one. Use it when you are not interested in working with status code or headers or something like this, and you are just interested in passing a simple input and getting a simple output. Work for this post for object. Use post for entity when you are interested in getting the response code from the output and getting the headers from the output. Always go for post for entity because it will return you response entity. Now, if you say, no, I want to pass some headers also, some custom headers, some authentication headers. So generally, whenever you wish to do some kind of authentication, you want to pass authentication headers also, then you obviously need to take help of Exchange. Yeah. Here we don't have any separate method like Exchange post or something like this. You need to say it is post in this particular way. Yeah. So these were the 3-way, guys. And again, how to get body out of response? Just by saying get body. Rest everything is same. The way of calling from there is same. So that's why I'm not going to show the same thing again and again. Yep. So this is how the things are working. And later on, now let's move on to this find customer part. Okay. So for find customer also, again, we have multiple variants. So now instead of coding each and everything, I hope you are clear that for each and everything, I will be showing you multiple variants. So first of all, let me show you some variant for this find also. So let me directly copy the code and show you here. So it is going to look something like this. And here again, let me provide this URL. First of all, I mean, that's going to be the hard job. But after this, I will explain you why we were doing like this. So now we are saying find customer using object. So this time we are going to invoke this get mapping. Okay. Now you see in the get mapping, input is actually a path variable only, nothing much. And then we are getting output as the owner DTO. So here we are providing something like this. So we will say get for object. So earlier it was post for object. Now it is get for object. Again, simple. First part is your URL. Now you see this time your URL is actually going to look something like this. Let me open this demo number 8 again in this particular way. So your URL is localhost 8080/owners/ and then the owner ID or the customer ID. Same we are passing a base URL. Then we are saying a slash here and then we are saying customer ID. So it is going to look something like this. Okay. And then we are saying what it is going to return. a customer detail. That's it. This time there is no input. Yeah? So only two arguments it is going to get. And this will directly provide you the response which you can return. Now this also can throw some exception. So let's again handle. And for this, as you can see, I have created a method handle not found exception. But as of now, I haven't added it. So let me just again copy and paste the same thing here. So what I will do is I will paste it something like this. Yeah. So this way I will be doing it. So here I will say handle not found exception. I will get the exception. I will get a customer ID. And this time I will say that, okay, it is, if it is an instance of not found, then only it is going to work. Yeah, obviously then only it will work. So what I will do is here, from here also let me remove this particular part, and here also let me remove this particular part. Yeah, and here let's say in this particular way. Yeah, now this is a custom message. So for this custom message, again I guess I need to add it here, and previously we were not having it. So let me save it something like this: customer not found. Okay, so here you need to take it from your Spring only, not from the Lombok. So this is how it is going to look like. So what basically we are doing in this exception is that whenever the exception will come, we will pass it here along with the customer ID, and from here we are going to throw it as customer not found exception. So for that, you see, we were throwing REST client exception. Here we are going to say customer not found exception. We are going to format it so that we can say that, okay, customer wasn't found and something like this. Yeah, but this is how it is going to look like, guys. Yeah. Now before we proceed, I hope till now most of the things are clear, but before we proceed, you see there is one issue which I'm facing again and again. Okay, the issue is that in all these methods I need to pass the URL of the target, and that is important. Now what can be done? So something which is coming currently in my mind is that here I will create another method, another variable. So I will call it as private, and here I will be calling it as string, and here let me call it as target base, and here I will be saying URL, something like this. And here what I will do is I will cut it from here, something like this. I will pass it on here, and I will say like this. And here what I will do is here I will be saying target, then base, and target base URL. So this way. So now I don't need to pass the same thing again and again. And this time I have created a variable. So now it is going to look like this. And obviously for this one, you will say that, okay, here how you will do. So we will do like this: target base URL. So at least whatever is common, you can make usage of it. Then you can say slash and then customer ID plus. This way you can do, guys. Okay, so this is the way. Now the thing is, still, there is one small issue. We shouldn't write such kind of things in our service layer and everything, because you see that generally we don't write username, password. These messages also we are taking from the, this particular message.properties file. So why to write URL here? Okay, so what we will do is that I will be copying this particular one. So let me just simply copy it like this. And now let's go to this application.properties, and this one application.properties. What I will do is I will create another variable, target, and you can call it anything. It is your choice. Okay, so I will be just calling it like this, and here we will say it like this in this particular way. Now I will be copying this particular key from here, and let me go to this customer service IMPL, and here what I will do is here I will be saying slash value in this particular way. Here this thing, then I need a dollar symbol, then curly braces, and then within this I will be providing this value. And now I don't need to even hard code it here. Now the benefit is that I have provided the URL in this properties file. Tomorrow, if you wish to change the URL, you just need to make a change here. There is no change in your Java class, and that is the best part. For all these custom things, messages, each and everything, you just mention things in your properties file. Okay, so that is the main part, guys. Yeah, so I hope that is clear. And now after this, the next part. Okay, so this also we have done. Now let's see few more customizations of this particular customer using object. And for this, what we will do is that we will see this second variant for this particular one. So here also you see that currently we were only getting the customer detail. What if I want to get the complete thing, response entity customer detail? In that case, what to do? So For that also, we have a variant, and you have guessed it right. The variant is get for entity. So it is going to look like this. Again, the same thing. Yeah. So it will just take a URL, same URL like this, and second argument is going to be what it is going to return, customer detail. The benefit, it will return response entity of customer detail and not just a customer detail. And then from this, you can get a body out of it. Yeah. You can get the status code, you can get headers, and whatever you wish. Rest everything is same. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, which one should we use? Get for object or get for entity? Choice is yours. If you say I'm just interested in the output only, use get for object. It is very simple. If you say no, I wish to work with the status code, response headers, and something like this, go for get for entity and do it like this. And my suggestion is go for this one if you wish. Okay. Then now the thing is that what if here also we want to pass some headers? Okay, obviously since it is a get request, there is no benefit of passing the input. What if I just want to pass some authentication headers? Then what to do? Do we have any option like exchange here? The answer is yes, we do have an option here also. Okay, and that option is going to look something like this. Okay, so here also we have a method exchange. Now this exchange method will accept three arguments. The URL, number one. Second is the data type, that is get this time. Sorry, it will again accept four arguments only. Third one, this time we are saying empty. Now why we are saying empty? Because if you just compare with the previous exchange, so there third argument was the request entity. And using that, we used to provide the input plus the headers. Currently, obviously I'm not having any kind of input. Then I'm not passing any kind of headers also. So one option is I can just write here null, but that looks odd that you are writing here null. Okay, and it seems something like it may throw null pointer exception. So just to make it more clear that as of now I don't have any body, I will be saying HTTP entity empty, something like this. And fourth argument is obviously your return type, and it will always return response entity. Everything is same. Okay, the point is the method is same. Now you will say that, okay, then that means should we make usage of exchange? Use exchange only when you want to pass some headers. Otherwise, you see that it looks like odd. I mean, why empty and something like this? So in case if you are not interested in passing any kind of header, go for this entity, get for entity. Otherwise, go for exchange, something like this. Okay, now let's see whether it will work or not. And before that, I obviously need to start demo 8 also. Otherwise it will throw me the exception that, okay, there is no server on the other side. So here let's start demo 8, and now let's go back here. So earlier that was not working. So earlier when you were saying this find customer, it wasn't working. But now if we go here and if we say this 83, so let's see it will work or not. So this time also you see this is not working. What is the issue? We are actually returning whatever is happening. And what is the thing? So if let me just go here, let me go to this particular body, and here what was the issue, guys? So it seems simple. What is the issue? I guess it made, if not 83, then let's try to with something else. Okay, I'm not sure, maybe that ID doesn't exist, or it can be some other issue. But okay, for this 65 also it is not working. What's the strange part here? Okay, strange part is we started demo 8 but we didn't restarted demo 13. So let me restart demo number 13 also. Okay, sometimes it happens out of curiosity that you don't restart the things. So let's go back again here and let's again click. So this time when you see, we are getting some kind of output. And let me try with this 83 also. I'm not sure which ID we created. So let me just try with this 83. And with the 83, you see we are getting something like this. I guess we didn't created this one. And it was 85 or what? Let me try with this. Yeah, it was 85. Okay. So it is giving me something like this. Yeah. So this one is working fine. Yeah. Just remember that every time when you make a change, so restart your server. Otherwise, changes are not going to reflect, and you will just keep on thinking, okay, what happened? Abhishek was showing that everything is working. In my case, it is not at all working. Okay. Why so? Now, after this, next one, let's proceed, and we are only left with the patch part and the delete part. And again, as you know, I will be showing you options for that too. Okay, so first of all, here comes the first option for the patching. So first option is going to look like this. We have a method patch for object. Now you will say that, okay, we knew it already. Yeah, it's that simple. Patch for object. So that was post for object, get for object. Here it is patch for object. First argument is your URL, obviously. Second argument, this time when you will be invoking the patch mapping, you see it is taking two things: the owner ID in the URL and then something as update pet DTO. Now this update pet DTO just need a name only, nothing much. Okay, so it is taking two things. So here also what we will do is we will provide the URL, and we don't have any separate update pet DTO like this. So we will provide the complete companion DTO, but within this we will only pass the name. Now what it is returning, so that is interesting. It is not returning anything, it's void only, response entity void. So that's why we are calling it as void.class. Okay, so that's why V capital. Now this is the one, and now you see this is patch for object. So obviously, I mean, this also, if you wish, you can just save it something like this, and here you can say in this particular way, guys, as response, and then it will look like this. Okay, but then what's the even benefit of writing something like this? Because from here also you are going to return void also. Okay, so there is no need to say return of response and something this. So that's why, I mean, you can just keep it like this. Okay, so this is how it is going to look like, patch for object. Yeah, so this is the one. Now after this you will say that, okay, now comes the second variant. So for the second variant you will say that, okay, Abhishek, we already know the second variant is going to be patch for entity, but now you are wrong. Here the second variant is directly exchange. Okay, so here this time, so let me remove this part. So here this time we are directly going to say exchange. Now first one is going to be your URL, second one is going to be type, that is patch, third one is request entity. Now obviously here the same request entity we have created like this. Again, not to mention, if you wish you can pass headers. Fourth one is your void. Yeah, and this time it will take it like this, response entity. And this is the difference here, guys. You will say that, okay, for this, why didn't you show us patch for entity? Because it doesn't exist. Now I'm not sure why it doesn't exist. One of the reasons why it doesn't exist is because generally when we say patch, we return void only. So there is no benefit of just getting the void response entity and something like this. Okay, so they say that if you wish, I mean, if you are not interested in doing much things, use patch for object. If you say, no, I want to work with the response header, I want to work with the request header, something like this, go for exchange. It's that simple. Okay, so it is going to look like this. So now let me again run this and let's see whether it is going to work or not. So here we have again started it, and okay, there it goes. Let's go to this particular one, and now comes our update pet details. So currently for 85 the name is Mithus, and now let's go here in this one, and here this, let me make it as 85, which is going to look like this. It is patch, and I'm just going to provide the name only here in this one. So let me say send. Okay, it says can't find customer with customer ID 85. But yeah, it was there, we remember. So it's there. That's why we are able to get this kind of a customer. So what's the reason? So if not 85, let's try to do it with some other one. Let's call it as, let's say 62 or something like this. Okay, so let me try this. So okay, here also it says not working. Why so? Where did all these customers went? So let me just go here and see what happened basically. So here you see what happened. So it must be throwing some kind of exception. So that exception we mentioned here, and then we said that, okay, whenever any exception will come, we will say handle not found exception. But this time maybe it is some other exception. But what we are doing, we are passing the customer ID, we are passing the exception, and we are doing like this. Okay, so that's why it's not a good practice that you directly do in this particular way, guys. And we should always have some kind of if else condition here. Okay, so let's put, that's why I was thinking that, okay, why I would have kept it earlier. So let's keep it like this, and now let's see the actual error which we are getting. Okay, earlier we were just hard coding it, that okay, whatever the exception came, every time we used to see customer not found exception without checking. Now only if it is actually not found, then we will do it like this. Otherwise, whatever will come, we will pass it on to the handle exception, and then it will extract the message and show us. Okay, so now let's again give it a try, and let's try with this one. So it says, okay, this seems to be a bigger one. it is actually trying to invoke the API of server, but then it says invalid HTTP method patch. But how is it possible? From here we are passing patch, and there also we are invoking the patch only. So like if you see, when we are seeing exchange here, we are saying it is patch, and in owner controller also it is supporting patch. So why is this one not yet working? So trust me, when I found this one, I was also spending a lot of time. Okay, the reason is that by default, your REST template don't support patch. Okay, so REST template supports post, it support get, it support put, it support delete also, but it is not going to provide you the support for the patch mapping. Yeah, that is the point, guys. Now you will say then, okay, Abhishek, what to do? So we will go here, and here let me show you something interesting. So just now, a few minutes ago, I told you that why we are making the beans, so that we can customize some of the things. So I shown you something like this. I told you that by default, it makes usage of simple client HTTP request factory. Okay. So this is a request factory which it uses. And by default, when it uses simple client request factory, just to make it short, so whenever it uses simple client request factory, patch is not supported there. Okay, so by default it is get, post, put, and delete only. So if you want to make usage of the other one, so you need to take help of this another HTTP components client HTTP request factory. Okay, so let's see how to use it. So we just need to pass it in this particular argument. So here what we will do is we will go here, and we are just going to say something like this. Yeah, and I will say Control Shift O, and that's it. Now it is going to work fine. You will say that, okay, will it, make any impact on my existing one? Answer is no. This you can say is an enhancement. It will support get, post, delete, put also, as well as patch. Okay, so patch is an additional thing which this one is going to support here. Yeah, so trust me, it wasn't easy to find it. It was very difficult. Okay, so that's why, maybe if you are getting, so yeah, this will happen. But okay, now this is not even starting. So it says what is the issue. So let's first of all go on top. So it says that it is error creating bean with the name customer controller. Okay, why so? Because it says error creating bean with the name customer service sample. Again, why so? Because it says error creating bean with the name REST template. So this bean is not getting created, because of which service is not getting created, because of which your controller is not getting created. Now, why is it not getting created? Answer is very simple. We just made this change only, and that's why it is not working. But let's see what is the actual reason. So it says that, okay, there is something like class not found exception. Okay, so it is not able to find something like this core 5 HTTP context and everything. Yeah, and that is something strange part, that okay, these things are by default supported, but then it is not working. Now for this, the solution is that we need to go here into this particular one, and here I'm actually trying to open the Maven repository. So let me bring it up here, something like this, and we need to go here. Now here we need to search for HTTP client 5, something like this. I have already searched. It is taking some kind of time, and yeah, there we go. First one, HTTP client 5. So this is something which we need to add, and you just need to add the latest version. So let's go for this one, and let me just copy the main part. I'm not interested in the comment, so I will just add this one. Let's come back to our code here into this particular one, and let's go to this bomb.xml of ours, and here what we will do is we will add a new dependency, something like this. Okay, the best part is you don't need to worry about version. Spring Boot can take automatically, Spring Boot will automatically take care of the version. It would have been better if Spring Boot can automatically take care of this HTTP 5 client 5 also. Okay, but strangely, Spring Boot feels that you are not going to make usage of the patch request. Okay, and hence by default it is not going to support it. Isn't it very strange? Yeah. So yeah, that is. So Spring Boot feels that, okay, you will be creating patch mappings, so that's why it will support @patch mapping. But it feels that, okay, with the help of REST template, you are not going to invoke patch mapping. Strange. Okay, but yeah, that is the thing. So you just need to add this dependency, and in the REST template, you need to add something like this HTTP components client, and you just saw how easy it was to get the name just from here. Now let me again try to restart this demo number 13 and let's see what it does now. Okay, so now this time when I'm starting this demo number 13, it has actually started. So let's go back to this particular one, postman, and here let's try to click on this one. So for 62, it was able to change the name. Let me try to change the name for this 85 also. And yeah, for 85 also, yes, it says I have changed. Let's verify here. So earlier it was Mithus and now let's see. So now it is Mithu. So yeah, it has able to change the name. So what we learned from this one, first of all, that patch is not by default supported in REST template. You need to do a hard work. Hard work means, first of all, you need to add this request factory here. And that's the reason we create a bean. And for this, you also need to add a dependency HTTP client 5. In case you are using older version of Spring Boot. So currently mine is 3 plus. But in case you are using 2 plus only, not 3, then it is going to be HTTP client 4, not 5. Okay, so this is the thing, guys. And one more interesting thing which we learned here is that we should not just simply throw the exception. Okay, so whenever we are handling the exception, we should handle the exceptions in a very well manner. So we should always have these kind of things that, okay, which is the instance. So if you want to customize your message, so always first of all check this instance off. Okay, so there can be multiple scenarios, otherwise you will just keep on thinking why it is not working. Yep. So this is how the things are going to work here, guys. So now let's go to the last thing, and that is delete mapping. For this, again, as a custom, first of all, we will be seeing using object. Okay, this time when we say delete, it's very simple. Okay, it says it is delete only. You can't do anything much with it. Okay, so it will say I just need a URL. I'm that simple. Okay, nothing much here. You will say that, okay, why we are not getting option of delete for object or delete for entity? Let's try to have a look. So it says no, I will just give this only. The reason why so, because generally when you want to delete something, what will you do with the output? I mean, what you will do in the output? Okay, if it is able to delete successfully, it will say 200. Okay, and a void response only. If it is not able to delete, then it will throw the exception. And this also tells you that whenever you are creating the APIs, basically delete kind of APIs, you should always return void. With the help of delete, you should not return anything else. Okay, so these methods actually tell you how your APIs should be created. So here delete says I will just accept the URL, nothing else. It's that simple. Okay, so you can call it as a variant of delete for object, or if you wish, you can call it as a variant of delete for entity also. Yeah, the only thing is it is not going to return anything at all. Yep. Now the next thing is, but what if I want to pass some kind of authentication header? Then what? Then obviously there is an option, and that option we call it as exchange. Okay, so exchange option is still there. So we will say exchange here. Then first argument is going to be your URL. Second argument is going to be your delete. Third argument is going to be your request entity. Again, we were not having any separate input. Then we were also not having any kind of headers. Hence, I'm saying HTTP entity empty. If you wish, you can call it as null also. Now, since this exchange is a common method, it is not only for delete. Hence, you need to say here void, and it will return you response entity void. So exchange is a common method which will support each and everything. It will support post, it will say put, it will support get, it will support delete, it will support patch also. Okay, the only thing is patch is not by default supported by REST template, so you need to do some extra amount of hard work. So now let's simply save it, and let's go back again here, and let's try to restart the things. So I'm hoping that now this time at least nothing extra should happen. Okay, so we are there. Let me just go, and I will go to this particular one, and here let me try to delete this number 85. So first of all, let's see whether it exists. So here if we go, yeah, it exists. And now let's go here, and here let's see. So it says 200. Okay, let's again try to find it. So it says that, okay, can't find customer with customer ID 85. And this time, this is the correct message because you have actually deleted it. If you don't trust me, you can actually invoke the actual URL of the find owner. And there also, you can try with this particular as 85. And there, let's see what it does. If there also it says, so that means, yeah, it actually doesn't exist. Okay. So now no need to doubt on yourself. Okay. So this was the thing, guys. So basically in this video, we learned 3 different ways of having the post mapping, for basically invoking the post URLs, 3 different ways of invoking the get URLs, 2 different ways of invoking the patch URLs, 2 different ways of invoking the delete URLs also. Yeah, I haven't covered put here. So you tell me in the comments which all methods are supported by put. What I can help is put is also going to support exchange. So exchange is common, so put will do. Now you tell me what are the other methods. Is it only put? Is it put for object? Is it put for entity? Or what do we call those methods? Yeah. Besides this, we saw that, okay, we need to create a bean for this particular REST template. And for patch, we need to do some extra amount of hard work. But the main point was, didn't you find it so easy that, okay, you are simply able to call someone else hard work? Okay, so let's assume that, okay, someone has, after doing a lot of hard work, they have created demo number 8, and now you were able to call it so easily just by providing URL and the correct input. Okay, so yeah, the things were that easy. Okay, so obviously we were not able to call it from the UI till now, but yeah, we have done something like this. And you also saw that how 2 applications are working with each other. So this is also a kind of a microservices, guys. In reality, microservice is a big thing, but yeah, this is also a kind of microservice, not to mention that. Yeah, so this is the thing. But what if I surprise you by saying that nowadays in the future code, in the new age applications, we don't actually make usage of REST template. Okay, it's an old thing. So the main purpose of creating this video was that in case if you are using an old version of Spring Boot, in case if you are already using REST template in your code, then how you can make usage of it. Otherwise, what if you want to create a new application from scratch? Then if REST template is odd, then why is, what is the next thing, guys? Okay, why part I have already told you. In order to support your production applications, because production people are not going to, there your code is not going to upgrade so fast. Okay, so for that it is REST template. But what if you want to create something new? That I will cover in the next video, that what is the next new age alternative of REST template. But trust me, whatever you have learned is not going in waste, because this is going to be our base in order to learn the next thing which we are going to see in the next video. But till then, do like the video if you find it helpful, and do subscribe to the channel also, and share it with as many people as you can. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.